Ever felt trapped by the very success you craved? Maria's story is about the unexpected fear that grips us when dreams come true. Watch to discover how she faced crippling anxiety after achieving her lifelong goal. Learn how a single moment of truth helped her rediscover the joy of creating and find her own quiet victory. For 10 years, Maria wore the title of struggling writer like an old sweater worn familiar and oddly comforting. It carried a certain romantic weight, a badge of perseverance that elicited nods of sympathy. It meant no expectations, no pressure, just the freedom to dream and fail quietly. Her neat, quiet home office bore witness to countless rejected manuscripts, scribbled notes, and hopeful beginnings. A stack of newly printed copies of her first best-selling novel stood like a monument beside her desk, a symbol of triumph, yet also the source of a new, sharper anxiety she hadn't expected. Had changed overnight. After years of silence, Maria's story resonated with thousands. Her agent buzzed relentlessly about tours and contracts for a sequel. Her family's pride glowed brighter than ever. But inside her heart, a cold finger of fear gripped tightly. The joy that filled her first week of success quickly evaporated, replaced by a heavy cloud of dread. What if it was just a fluke, she wondered. The blank page of her next novel, once a playground of ideas, now loomed like a cold judge's gavel. It whispered menacingly, "Fail again, and everyone you've let down will see you for what you really are." As days turned into restless nights, Maria found herself avoiding the one thing she loved most: writing. Instead, she deep-cleaned every corner of her home, arranged her spice rack in perfect alphabetical order, even reorganized her bookshelves by color and height. Anything to escape the pressure of the blank screen that stared back with silent judgment. Her mind spun with fears, fear of disappointing her fans, her family, her agent, and most of all, herself. The anxiety was heavier and sharper than any rejection letter could have been. It whispered cruel lies that echoed louder than any cheer. Better not to begin than to fail spectacularly. One restless night, unable to sleep, Maria scrolled through online spaces where readers shared their thoughts. Searching for validation or inspiration, instead she found a scathing one-star review of her beloved book. The critic called her plot derivative and her prose unbearably purple. Her stomach sank, and for a moment she was crushed beneath the weight of those words. Then an unexpected feeling unfurled inside her chest, a quiet relief. The illusion of perfect universal success was shattered with a single, honest critique. Someone thought she was a hack, and yet she was still here, still breathing, still writing. The next morning, as sunlight filtered softly into her office, Maria sat at her desk without the usual knot in her stomach. She wasn't thinking of bestseller lists or the impossible pressure to replicate her debut. That single review had lifted the heavy cloak of perfection off her shoulders. With a gentleness she hadn't felt in months, she opened a new document. She didn't aim to write a masterpiece. Instead, she wrote the first sentence of a story she wanted to read, free from expectation, free from fear. In that moment, Maria rediscovered the pure joy of creating. Not as a performer chasing success, but simply as herself, a writer telling her story one sentence at a time. And that, she realized, was her quiet victory. Maria took a deep breath. The morning air crisp and clean as it filled her lungs. It felt like a weight had lifted, not just from her shoulders, but from her very soul. She thought of her grandmother, the one who had given her the silver ring, a symbol of resilience and unwavering belief in herself. It was a reminder that even in the darkest moments, she was never truly alone. With newfound courage, Maria decided to revisit the online spaces where readers shared their thoughts. This time, she wasn't searching for validation or fearfully bracing for criticism. Instead, she sought to connect with the readers who had found solace and inspiration in her story, offering her gratitude and a glimpse into her own journey. As she shared her story, she realized that vulnerability wasn't a weakness, but a strength. The fear of failure didn't disappear entirely, but it no longer held her captive. Instead, it became a quiet whisper, a reminder to stay grounded and to embrace the imperfect beauty of the creative process. Maria started writing again, not with the pressure of expectation, but with the lightness of curiosity. She explored new genres, experimented with different voices, and allowed herself to make mistakes without judgment. She rediscovered the joy of writing for herself, of crafting stories that resonated with her soul, regardless of whether they achieved bestseller status. Years passed, and Maria continued to write, each story a testament to her resilience and her unwavering belief in the power of storytelling. She found solace in the small victories, the moments of connection with readers, the simple joy of bringing her imagination to life. And as she looked back on her journey, Maria realized that her quiet victory wasn't just about overcoming her fear of success, but about embracing the messy, imperfect, and beautiful process of being human. It was about learning to trust herself, to embrace her vulnerability, and to find joy in the simple act of creating one sentence at a time. And so Maria continued to write, her stories echoing through the world, touching hearts and inspiring others to find their own quiet victories, one sentence at a time. Thank you for reading.